All right, our review for the Unit 5 test, very similar to your two quizzes for linear and quadratic inverses. If you're given a function f of x, it has an inverse of f inverse x, which of the following statements is true? If you're given xy, so every one of these answer choices says if x comma y is on the graph. Then the graph of the inverse, remember, the whole thing about inverses is that you switch x and y. So you would end up with y comma x. And our answer choice is best going to be C. Okay, you don't change the signs, you don't keep it the same. Okay, that's true. Okay, number 2, which of the following represents f inverse x? All right. Well, first step, as usual, we'll turn this into a y. Switch x and y. Solve for y, get rid of the loner, add 3 to both sides, and the 3 goes after the x. And then your last step to get rid of that 5 that's being multiplied is you divide, and you can write it as an inverse function. So our best answer would be C. Same idea, find the inverse. So again, f of x turns into y. Let's get rid of that loner first. Actually, before I do that, my bad. You turn that into y, and then you have to switch x and y. Get rid of that loner, minus 7, it goes after x. So x minus 7 equals y minus 3 squared. Let's get rid of, before we can get rid of that 3, we have to get rid of the squared by doing square root. Cancel that out. So square root of x minus 7 equals y minus 3. Last step here to get rid of the minus 3 is to add 3. Add 3, and it goes after the square root sign. So our final inverse function is going to be square root of x minus 7 with a plus 3 after it. So our best answer will be A. Okay, same thing here. Y equals x squared plus 1. Switch x and y. Get rid of the loner after the x. And then to get rid of squared, we do square root. Cancel that out. Write it as an inverse, and we get square root of x minus 1, all underneath the square root sign. So that's C. Alright, same thing. This turns into y. Then we need to switch x and y. When we solve for y, we go to this loner minus 4 by adding 4 to both sides. Put it afterwards. So I have x plus 4 equals 9y. And then I divide by 9. F inverse x equals x plus 4 over 9. My best answer is letter D. All right. Why that moved. Okay, so when I have graphs, I want to take the original graph, f of x. Let's get some points. This point is negative 5, 0. This point is negative 1, negative 2. Right here. And at this point over here is 3, negative 4. So one of these other graphs has to have the inverse function, and all you do is switch x and y. So now I have 0, -5, -2, -1, -4, 3. So which one of these graphs has these points? Let's start with the first one. Which one has 0, -5? 0, -5. 0, -5. Okay, maybe B. 0, -5. No. 0, -5. No. Okay, let's get back to C. -2, -1. Yep. And then -4, 3. Yep. So our best answer is B. Okay. What's the inverse of square root of x? Again, make it y. Switch x and y. And then to get rid of square root, you have to square both sides. So I get the inverse of x equals x squared. Hopefully you know square and square root are opposites. Okay? Not negative, but positive, x squared. Okay, the graph of two inverse functions reflect over the line what? So if you remember, we would have these graphs, and we'd have like something like this, and they would reflect across this diagonal line. That diagonal line is y equals x, okay? So inverse functions reflect across the diagonal line, y equals x. Okay, what are the intercepts here? So the x-intercept on the x-axis is right here at 6, 0. And the y-intercept on this y-axis is down here at 0, -4. Okay, don't get those mixed up. So that means my best answer is going to be A. The other ones are wrong because they have the wrong order or they mess something else up. Okay. We have the escape part opening up. Okay. It's adding 3 each time. So the change in y over the change in x, 3 over 1, or just 3, is our slope. Our b, beginning value, when x is 0, is 10. So y equals 3x plus 10. My best answer is going to be letter C. Okay. Now, I want to get the vertex. There's a few ways to do it. You might remember that insiders lie. We call this H, and we call this K. So the vertex is H, comma, K, which would be the opposite of positive 8, -8, and then K is -1. Okay, that's one way to do it. Or if you go into your calculator, and you type in 5 parentheses x plus 8 parentheses squared -1, and you do menu 5, 1. Then you trace it and you go to the left until you get to that vertex. Going to say the word minimum, -8, -1, we get the same answer. Okay. So you can use the trace feature, which is what? Menu 5, 1. And you have to go left to right. And go to find the minimum. It's not going to say the word vertex, but minimum or maximum. All right, and then drag to create an inverse table. Inverse table, remember, you just switch x and y. So when you do the test, you actually have to drag stuff, okay? I would drag the 9 here, drag the 4 here, and drag the 1 here. then drag the 1 here. So you should be able to make that inverse table. Cool. All you gotta do is switch X and Y. So that is your review. Your test is tomorrow. It's very similar to this review, so make sure you study and bring this